Hey everybody, do you have your will in order? Arthur Flabbington's uncle didn't, and that sucks for those of us on a 1099 with any company, especially if you're trying to escape a cave. Grab your Molotov cocktails and crowbars, all this and the riot of the year on episode 178 of Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot!
Everybody, I am Josh, joined by Rev and Vance, here with episode 178 of Indie Game Riot Podcast. This week is going to be a little bit different. I mean, we're going to talk about games like usual, but we are going to announce our Riot of the Year. And for those of you who don't know what the Riot of the Year is, that is our Indie Game of the Year award that we give out every time. I don't know if we're going to do it this year since we kind of are, still working our way back to things, but previous years we did give out a really cool trophy thanks to Rev and some friends of his. We're
gonna find a way I'm gonna find a way to do it for this one as well.
We'll figure. It's really cool. If you haven't seen it, I could probably put it.
I don't know if I'm gonna do the same one. Just because shipping a full-sized riot shield from Southern California to France was. Okay. My favorite year on that of doing that. So previously it was like I'd buy a riot shield and then I'd have a buddy of mine that does like award labeling and stuff like that, and he did a colored etching or engraving in it. So it's like Indie Game Riot's Riot of the Year, and then their company logo and all of that. It was really, really cool. Some of it's on our social media, I'm sure. But like one year it was literally the weekend. It was the first weekend I was going to Indiecade for the first time, and it was like, it's ready. I got to ship this off to the game that won. Their dev studio was in France. The Riot Shield was like, it was like less than $100, but shipping that Riot Shield from Los Angeles to France to get to their studio was like $400 right before I was like, I literally was dropping it off on my way to the convention. And it was just like, oh, I was not expecting that. So I think I'm gonna reassess. I'm thinking maybe like a Riot baton that's engraved, or like metal plating. Technology's advanced a lot since then, so maybe I can talk to a friend to maybe 3D print one, or just get a real one and then an engraved metal plating.
Now, one of the issues though, and that last time, if I remember correctly, is that because they were like kind of iffy about it because it was like a weapon, even though it's not really, but it kind of is. And you had to classify it as an award. Now, if you do a baton
award, yeah.
that might be a little hard.
It's still an award. Like, even if it's like mounted on a plaque or something, like. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It's going to happen. I'm excited for this.
And I have that picture of the shield in case anyone's curious. So
throw it up.
Well, I mean, if you remind me, I can put it on our Discord server. So if you haven't joined our Discord server, join it. You can see it after the show. I just can't do it now because of camera things. They'll screw things up. But anyway, so that's going to happen today. And lastly, I just want to quickly remind you all that Indie Revolution Expo is the registrations are still open. Rev is wearing our classic straight, like our actual logo shirt instead of the like limited edition logo shirts that we usually do. And we'll probably do that again this year since we skipped some years, because for those of you who don't know, what happens is whoever wins the basically the game of show, the most revolutionary game during IRX, we, with their permission, kind of use their logo and change it a bit to put Indie Revolution Expo onto it. But because of the big gap, and last time's winner was the Metronomicon, but because of the big gap, we're probably just going to go with the with the regular logo and shirt this year. There's an example. That's the logo based on. It was why can't I think of the name? What the fuck?
I don't remember.
Oh, this is not because the game it was an excellent game. I'm just having a stroke or something. Yeah. You can look back on our Indie Revolution Expo archive. It's on the website. You can see it there. But anyway, the point is, we'll probably go with the regular logo this year. But if you are a game dev and have a game, it doesn't have to be new. It can be old games as well. You can register that to be shown at IRX. And if you have something that you think you could talk about that would be interesting for everyone to listen to, you can also sign up to be a presenter, to make a presentation, not a panel. But yeah. So yeah, we'll get that going. And anything else that I'm missing here before we?
Yep. You're missing the indie news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
First up on Indie News Injection, we are talking about the Adventure X conference, Adventure Expo, that happened in London about 1 month ago. And we have not gotten around to talk about it yet, but now is the time. It is an expo and a conference that is focused on adventure games, but also other sorts of narrative games. It tends to, while they definitely accept and exhibit all manner of narrative games, a lot of the games tend to be in the actual adventure game genre, more by tradition than rules. There are a lot of narrative games that are acceptable to be exhibited there. And I was at it and exhibiting my upcoming game Vagabond Starship. And it
golf clap.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
I was trying not to blow out the mic. Here, let me applaud silently the correct way.
And yeah, so a lot of really great games and developers showed up there.
Let me ask you. You mentioned you mentioned they're loose. They're a little loose with like adventure game genre, right? So like, are you? I feel, you're pretty purist according to your game jam that you run. How do you feel about these imposters encroaching upon you?
Oh, I think you might have gotten a little bit of the wrong idea. I have nothing against narrative games that are not strictly following the rules of adventure games. I don't allow them in my jam, but that is the rules of my jam, right? Like, if I were to hold I don't know, like a skeleton-themed Halloween party and make the rule that you have to show up dressed as a skeleton, then if you show up dressed as a pirate, that would be against the rules. But it's not like I have anything against people dressing like a pirate.
But they have a skeleton on their hat.
If they're a skeleton pirate, I guess that would be fine. But I don't know, that was a silly example. But I'm just saying, yes, my jam has a particular focus on more traditional definition of adventure game, although I do definitely, push to and accept people who are, innovating within that definition. But it's not like I have something against people who are making narrative games that do not fall strictly into the adventure game genre. So yeah, I have no problem with that at all, and there were certainly a lot of.
Let me ask you though, a real question is what? And I'm sure there were a ton of really cool games there, but is there maybe a top 3 or even just one that you really want to talk about that you saw there outside of Vagabond?
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
well, I mean,
well, I'd like to hear
yeah.
more about Vagabond.
Yeah, Vagabond Starship obviously is the best game that was exhibited there. I don't know that I have a top 3. I mean, I just
Maybe
yeah,
just
I
one
mean,
off the top of your head.
well, let me think. There's like Clem. Clem is a game that looks good. What other? I mean, just I'm kind of reticent to name off games because I didn't get to play all of them, and I feel like I don't want to leave anybody out who made a great game. It's,
I guess you're at your booth
unfortunately-
most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was stuck at the booth all day long every day, and I didn't see all of the games that were there and got to play very, very few of them. And I might be the worst person ever to actually report on this conference because I didn't go to
Because
any
I
of
was
the
also
talks.
presenting.
Yeah, I didn't go to any of the presentations
All right, well,
because I was at the booth.
well, let me
That was
let me ask
going to
you
be
this
my
then.
question.
Here, let me ask you this question then. As a convention, how was it? Like, do you feel like it is one of the better conventions, at least for adventure games, obviously?
I'm gonna correct you here. I'm gonna do some minor correction. According to their website, they are not an adventure game convention. They are a narrative game convention. In fact, their about literally says Adventure X is the UK's only convention dedicated to narrative-driven gaming.
They should be called
That's
Narrative
what I
X.
said. I did say that in the beginning.
No, I was correcting Josh. Sorry, not
Yeah.
you.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, they did definitely 100% start out as an adventure game convention.
Yeah.
Although they have broadened their horizon since then. I, was able to have to talk with the organizer of it, the guy who puts it together, and he has said, quite specifically that he's looking to expand the offering or the exposition of games that are not strictly adventure games into the conference even more than it already is. So yeah, that's
So how
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I just was saying.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
I was going to say,
definitely
how many people do you think got a chance to attend that weren't either the speakers or exhibitors?
Lots of people. Yeah,
Was it pretty
lots of
populated?
people there. Oh yeah,
Nice.
especially on Saturday. Saturday, it was there were just people in every inch of the floor. Sunday was a little less so. I think a lot of the people who were not were not exhibiting and not speaking and not involved in the production of adventure games probably just only came on Saturday. It wasn't that big. There's no reason to come both days. And so, unless you wanted to see, the talks on both days, of course. And so I think a lot of people who were, less involved in the production of the games came only on Saturday. Sunday was fewer people. But yeah, there were lots of people. And there was a party, after party each night, and the place was packed.
Adventure gamers get crunk.
Oh yeah. You couldn't move around in the place.
Well,
especially the first night.
One more question before we move on to the next news thing here, and definitely not out of any kind of egotistical place for me. How did your trailer go? How was it perceived? How was it taken?
Oh, well, not just a trailer. We had the playable demo as well.
Okay.
It was received very well. Got really a lot of positive response from the people who played it, and there's write-ups on it as well from people who went to the conference and
Nice.
so you can look up Vagabond Starship write-ups from Adventure X, and there are several out there online. And just to quickly answer your question, Josh, about whether it is, one of the best conferences, it is definitely the best conference if you make adventure games. Definitely one of the best, if not the best conference if you make other types of narrative games. definitely 100% the best conference if you make adventure games. There are other narrative conferences that are newer than this one, and I have not been to them. They do not tend to, like I said, it is more out of tradition than rules that Adventure X at this point still focuses mainly on adventure games, but it still does. And so if you are an adventure game developer, that is the place to be. You should go there before considering going to GDC or PAX or any of these other places with, 95% of the people at GDC won't give one shit about your game.
I was going to say,
every single person
those
at
are pricey.
Adventure X will,
Is Adventure X fairly
much
price?
more affordable. Yeah. Much more
besides being in the UK.
Yeah. Well, it's half a dozen of one and 6 of the other to me, because it's, from Korea, it's about the same amount of time and effort to get to California as it is to get to London. But yeah, if you make adventure games or if you make narrative games, Adventure X is the place to be. It is a place that is laser focused on exactly the type of games that you are making, and even if you're not exhibiting, even if you're not speaking, going there and being in the environment is inspiring, and talking to all of the other developers, all of the other people who are excited about the kinds of games that you're making, or that you're interested in. If you're not making games, it is definitely the place to be. It is my number one priority for places for conferences to be at this point.
Nice. You know where else is a place to be, Rev?
Moving on.
He said, huh?
Moving on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was trying to is this a joke, or were you transitioning to me? All right, so yeah, Adventure X, check it out for sure. So other quick news item, and I'm gonna go quick because we still have to have a no holds barred, brass knuckles and elbow drops kind of fight for Riot of the Year. But Blumhouse, the movie studio, recently made the movie Five Nights at Freddy's, based on the game Five Nights at Freddy's, which good for them. Not my cup of tea personally, but I'm glad to see that kind of success. But the movie studio decided that they are going to start a publishing house called Blumhouse Games to help indie devs make original horror titles. They've just hired on Joe Lammert and Clint Brewer to kind of help shape and guide this new attempt. So Joe Lammert, you might recognize some of the games that they've worked on: Roller Drome, The Outer Worlds, Ollie Ollie World, and Lammert is going to be the production lead. Brewer is going to be their games technical director, and has been working in engineering at EA, Oculus, Activision, Nvidia, and a bunch of other places. They're kind of targeting a project with a budget of under $10 million. So, we can kind of expect I would expect that we would have fairly good quality coming out of this if they're aiming to keep it under $10 million. Yeah, you may, if you're a dev, check it out. There may be some horror game dev, check it out, because there may be some opportunities for you there. They're looking to bring original horror titles to console, PC, and mobile. And
that's a good track record with those devs too. Outer Worlds and LA World.
They've got some really solid experience in that. So yeah, and if you're just a gamer, or just kind of interested, keep an eye out for first published work. We don't know when that'll be, but they just formed the company and just hired a creative director. So it
And then
might
there
be
will
a
be
little
layoffs.
while. That's probably
sorry,
next year.
I'm cynical. I'm cynical.
That's next week.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
I stole your transition. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Josh, do you want to get into a fight again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's fight again.
Let's talk. Let's fight about our riot of the year.
All right.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, Riot of the Year. Again, if you are new to the show, Riot of the Year is our Indie Game of the Year award that we hand out. So the process for this goes, the hosts, us, we go in and have a meeting, and that's what we did last week instead of this show. We kind of had like a mini break for holidays and everything like that, but we decided to do this at least so we can get it out for this week. But the process is we go in, have a meeting, we bring up some of our own personal nominees. The games have to be fully released in the past year, so 2023 this year, leading up until like November,
December.
Yeah,
it's like
December.
November, December
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah, so we do that, and then we fight to the death until one emerges. And by that I mean we debate. And actually this year was fairly it was fairly peaceful compared to previous years. To be perfectly honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vance is a little bit more laid back, I think so. But then again, he does have some strong opinions. I personally
Go
went
fuck
into
yourself and die in a fire has been said at more than one of these Riot of the Year meetings. It was not said during this year's.
high standards. So the other thing is I personally went in knowing I was climbing an uphill battle, or I was fighting an uphill battle. I knew my nominees were not either their cups of tea. But I tried. My personal, and plus the other thing is that because we started the show back up with like a third
12
of the year
episodes ago, 10 episodes.
a quarter to a third of the year left. We decided that we would, because usually we pull this from games that we had also covered, but we went ahead and said, okay, as long as it was an indie game released this past year, even if we
minor correction here. Josh said that his nominees were indie games that had come out this past year, even if we hadn't covered them. Vance and I chose from games that we did cover.
Anyway, my games were very they deserved to be on that list, I will say.
Oh, absolutely.
Good
runners up.
Yeah. My I'm trying to bring that open here. My games, I said Homebody, which is one that we covered, basically because it was really unique mashup of various mechanics and humor, dark humor inside of a legitimately scary horror game where a killer stalks you and there's like a time loop and everything like that. Homebody, My Friendly Neighborhood also featured on Indie Game Riot, although I was thinking of some other games at first, but I decided to change to that just because of how quality the story was in that game and just the amount of polish. And then finally the one that was not, and actually was my top choice, was Dredge. And if you don't know Dredge, I highly recommend it. It's especially if you are into Lovecraftian type horror. You're a fisherman fishing up corrupted fish at times, and also dealing with some strange not sea folk, but people living by the sea, and as one does in Cthulhuian type of horror, the Lovecraftian type horror. But I knew between
Cthulhuian type horror.
between the fact that neither of them have played it, we didn't cover it on a show. It's a horror game. By all accounts,
it was a long shot.
Yeah,
I
knew it wasn't going to make it. So
we gave him a chance. We gave him a chance, and like he made some pretty valid arguments, but it was like, yeah, no, you lose this one. So he's seated. He tapped out, threw in the towel.
Yeah.
And then just argued against me and Vance for all of our arguments against each other.
I was playing devil's advocate. I was playing devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate.
So I'll let you guys talk about the two, but there are two games that were on your list. We don't really need to go into them because the other two are the more important one. Vance had Oxenfree 2 on his list that was mentioned but wasn't part of like the argument, and then Rev had Cocoon on his list, which ended up not being really part of the argument. The two, and I'll let you guys talk about it, but the two games that was really a debate about was either Sea of Stars or...
Wait. Pause there for the reveal. So, I'll go first because my top game lost. I went into this this was our runner up for Riot of the Year, and I went into this full of gung ho, piss and vinegar. I was ready to fight. Sea of Stars is an amazing game. Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. It's one of the few games that I've played to completion this year alone, and I logged about 100 hours into it. And absolutely loved it. Super passionate about it. It was everything that an indie game should be. However, there were some minor problems, and I talked about it in the episode where we covered it. There's some typographical stuff. There was some misses, I think, in some of the writing. There was some minor pacing issues, that sort of thing throughout the full game. And the music kind of got a bit repetitive at times. But the biggest drawback to Sea of Stars, based off of our argument, and the thing that literally flipped my vote from the game that I wanted to win to the game that does eventually win, was that Sea of Stars, while a phenomenal game, it is a fairly bog standard RPG game. It's fun and it's super well done. It's just it's an RPG game, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of draw to it outside of that aspect. It's a well-done indie game, and it's an RPG, and there's not a whole lot of overlap.
The interesting thing about it, and this sort of stuff did come up in the discussion, but is that Sea of Stars, by all accounts, it's nominated for a ton of awards, and it's probably going to win a lot of awards.
A ton of awards.
At the Game Awards for those of you that care about it. About those awards.
Isn't that tonight?
No, it's on a Thursday. It's on Thursday.
Okay.
But yeah,
we should have mentioned that.
But so I'm. It's interesting, and that's a valid point. Is that it's nothing. I mean, it's a great game, like you said, but nothing like stands out to the point where it should. In my mind, Riot of the Year should really stand out.
Knock our socks off.
Like just stand out from the crowd by being innovative and completely creative. And so when you said that it's like standard, I was like, well, that's not Riot of the Year. That said, I didn't make that decision. I left it between them two. Like I said, I was playing devil's advocate the whole time.
So yeah, Sea of Stars, great game. Check it out, like we said on the show. But also, it's the runner-up for Riot of the Year. I lost. I was convinced by a very wonderful argument from Vance. Vance, do you want to announce our actual Riot of the Year winner and why it won?
Yes. So the winner of Riot of the Year is the Fabulous Fear Machine. And, this game, I mean, it's very polished. There's so much good to say about it. The graphics are striking. The gameplay loop is interesting. The strategic gameplay is engaging and interesting. The really big reason that I think that where they really shine. What is the word?
Explode.
Yes. where they really stood out was that how tightly and seamlessly the narrative was tied in to the strategic gameplay. While it is
And the mechanics,
while it is a strategy game, the things that you do, the core gameplay of it is a strategy game. The narrative, the story, and the characters are tied into it so well, it almost feels like an adventure game or a narrative game at times, which is a very difficult thing to do for a strategy game. And so I thought, while there are lots of good things to say about that game, that is an area where it just really stood out and sort of transcends genres and becomes something.
And
that,
there's
really
that
impressive.
standout factor right there. Where it breaks. I don't know if I would call it genre breaking, but it definitely ascends. It rises above.
It's genre. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Right. So yeah, congratulations to the fabulous Fear Machine. We will be sending you fine folks an award at some point. It may take a little bit of time, and it will probably look different from previous years, but we will get it done for you so you can throw it in the trash when you get it. And, no, I'm just kidding. No, it'll be cool. I hope you would keep it. So yeah, congratulations again, and here's to next year, a full year of games to choose from.
I am so excited.
Yeah, let's get it done. With that said, you know what? We should be getting done right now.
Starting the riot.
Starting the riot.
This week on Starting the Riot, we are covering The Will of Arthur Flabbington. This is a game by Games, by Guga.
Gugamis.
And
Gugamis?
yeah. His game company is named Goo Games. He goes by Guga online in most online places that I've seen him. And The Will of Arthur Flabbington started out as a jam game. The very first part of it is close to what the jam game was, but then he fleshed it out over the course of 2 years, I think it was about 2 years or more, that into a full-length adventure game with full voice acting and just a really high-quality product that I have not finished yet because it is not easy, it turns out. But when I
Well, is it challenging or is it space logic type?
No. It is not one of those, when you find out what the answer to something is, you don't say, "Oh my god, that was stupid," right? The types of games.
No, it's like, "Oh my god, I'm stupid." That's the kind.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that for the last 5.5 days straight," or whatever. But yeah, no, it is not. And I've played a lot of Guga's games, and he does not rely on absurdity and nonsense logic. And so the people who are familiar with his work have been looking forward to this game for some time, and now it's finally out. And it is, just an incredibly well-made game. The plot is that your uncle has died and left in his will 2 clues to a treasure map that can only be deciphered by 2 of his old friends. But those 2 old friends want nothing to do with each other, so they are not looking for the treasure. And so you're decided to look for the treasure, but you need to figure out how to get these people's help unwillingly to find the treasure. And also, you've accidentally summoned the wrong ghost when you tried to talk to your uncle. And so there's just some random ghost that's now bound to you and following you around. Yeah.
It's just like my life. It's like an autobiography. All right, not an autobiography.
Yeah.
It's a... Fuck it. Go ahead. My joke fell.
That joke landed well.
It landed well in the toilet, like that turd floating on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and of course there is a toilet, just like Kuga is wont to do in his games, and yeah. So I mean,
What a signature! A piece of
yes.
shit.
Well, yeah, death, and toilets. That's how you describe.
I'm surprised he hasn't had like an
Kuga
Elvis
in
Presley
2
game.
words.
Can I just say it's really like I love seeing people's work progress. I know I'm not like intimately familiar with all of Guga Games' work, but I am passingly familiar with his previous game, Kill Yourself. And like that one came out in like
Long time ago.
2019, 2020, something like that. It was around the time that everything went to weirdness. And like comparing and contrasting the art in Kill Yourself to the art of Will of Arthur Flabbington, and like it has gone by leaps and bounds, and it's so well done. Like Kill Yourself was well done in 2, but like it had a different vibe for it, and it didn't look, to me at least, nearly as like well done, if that makes sense. Like I'm not trying to shit on the other game, but it's like there's definitely
You see the
a
improvement in the polish.
rise. Yeah, you can definitely see that like his art style.
I'm looking at it now.
And,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like just details and the ability to build those into his pixel art is like vastly improved. So like I appreciated that. What would you have you played Kill Yourself, Vance?
yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're familiar with like his style of humor from that game,
And a lot of other of his games. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How would you say like does this game also exemplify or show a expansion and elevation of his sense of humor?
Well, I mean, it is a actual game with a plot, not like. And Kill Yourself is not a game with a plot. It is a very interesting game, and even you could say a somewhat innovative game in that you. Every playthrough is very, very short in Kill Yourself, but the idea is that it is only like a reasonable amount of playtime if you play it over and over and over again and try to find all of the endings.
Isn't there like 100+ endings on
there's
it?
a lot.
Yeah, it was something
not find
ridiculous.
Yeah. So while a single playthrough of Kill Yourself could be 30 seconds, a minute, possibly a few minutes.
This video is not getting monetized ever.
Kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. Yes. Fuck your algorithm.
Unalive yourself, as the kids say.
Yeah.
No, fuck the algorithm.
Yes.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
But so yeah, anyway, yeah. So Will of Arthur Flabbington is a full-length game with a full-length plot. So it's quite a bit different than Kill Yourself, but the sense of humor, it is a Guga sense of humor.
Okay.
You know, lots of death and that kind of things. It's you can recognize if you played his games that his sense of humor comes through in it
really well.
Yeah, but it's a very, very different kind of game than Kill Yourself was.
Gotcha. Okay.
What kind of inventory system does he use? I haven't seen it.
It's a pretty standard inventory system.
It's not like Sierra, right? It's more Lucas.
No, I mean it's not like verbs and that kind of thing. It is more Sierra. In you have inventory items and you use them on things. You don't have them in the. So LucasArts, I think when I think of LucasArts, I think right on the bottom of the screen you have over here some verbs, and then over here you have the inventory. No, Sierra had the bar across the top.
Okay.
with the inventory, and that's what you're looking at here in this game.
All right.
Gotcha. Well, cool.
I don't know what he used. I think he might have used a Power Hoops adventure thing to make it. I think that's what he used. Their tool to make it, which is Sierra-esque in general.
It's
I think that's what he used. He can yell at me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
From the looks of the, well, I guess it's actually a fairly long game. It's like I see most people finishing it in between like 8 and 9 hours or so, maybe some longer. But there is a demo, because I was gonna say if it's a short game, I'm surprised there's a demo. But there is a demo for those who are interested. But if you want to buy it, it is $11.99 on Steam, so you can get it today for pretty good price.
Yeah, it's very reasonably priced and a very good game. I have not finished it yet, but what I've played, very enjoyable.
I will say, just to kind of give you guys an idea in the audience, like his kind of sense of humor in the about the game. He lists some of its main features, and my favorite feature I've ever seen listed in a game is a state-of-the-art 320 by 180 resolution for the hardcore pixel lovers.
Sweet pickles? Pixels?
What is it? Man!
I don't know, man. My brain's full
Have you
of
been
holes.
drinking tonight?
I wish. I do have scotch over there. Anyway, that is the Will of Arthur Flabbington, and that was starting the riot. But you know what is in the future?
Free fun. Oh, wait, no. Damn.
Get the fuck
Peep
out
show.
of here. God damn it. Peep show.
Peep show.
This week on Peep Show, we're talking about a little ditty called Lethal Company. We actually talked about this last week, briefly in news, or not last week, but last episode, in news, because it had passed, 100,000 concurrent players on Steam, passing like some really big-ass games. Was it number one for a little bit there?
It was number one at the time, and like the only game that had more than it at that moment was like Fortnite.
Hell yeah. Well, Fortnite's not on Steam, so fuck them. Lethal Company, currently in early access, as this is Peep Show, is a co-op game, 1 to 4 players. I would highly suggest going in with a full crew if you can. It makes the game, even with that one extra player, makes the game a lot more. Well, it's challenging no matter what, but it's a lot less challenging with a full crew. But you work for a mysterious company on a mysterious moon, going to mysterious other moons to pick up some mysterious scrap that you can sell back to the mysterious company on a mysterious ship. And if you don't, every 3 days you have a quota to fulfill. And if you don't hit that quota, you are, we'll just say, fired. Is your quota mysterious too? Like, I'm getting the feeling that there's like some kind of hidden aspect of information about this game. It is kind of mysterious because it's very it's very like random. I mean, it's the same as, you know, as you so if you hit your quota, then 3 days starts again and your quota goes up. It keeps, you know, it goes up and gets harder, but it's not like random quotas as far as I know, I don't think.
Okay.
So it does, you know, you kind of essentially like levels in that way. You know, harder and harder levels. As you're going, it's kind of roguelike in a sense too, that as you're doing this, the money you get from selling these things to the company, you can use to buy equipment to help you out while you're searching for these things, to help you out to defend yourself. You can get like ship upgrades, and various things like that. And none of these things are permanent, which is, honestly, I was a little upset when I learned that. It's not so bad. There are some cosmetic things, like you can get like different suits. There are ship upgrades that seem to be purely cosmetic too. So I don't know. I haven't gotten any of them because we use the money on usable things. But
form over fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Function
know.
over form.
There you go. I don't know if those are permanent or not, but I know the stuff that helps you is not, and you have to continue. And if you die while you're on these missions, and you're carrying the items, they will disappear. Now, when you die, you do as long as you don't get totally wiped, you do come back at the end of the day when you go back to the ship and lift off from the moon. But you don't keep your equipment, so you have to rebuy them. And when you buy them, they actually come down in this like ice cream truck sounding ship that just drops down. And there are certain enemies that are attracted by sound, so God forbid that's happening when that comes down. Although it's cool because there's an interesting strategy. We used it the last time we played, where that particular enemy was kind of waltzing around like he owned the place, and then we had to get back to the ship, but it was in the way. So, we ordered like something cheap and had the ship drop down onto the moons to distract it, so we can get there.
Oh, that's a smart tactic.
Yeah, that was actually Whizfish in chat. He was the one that did that. He played me, him, Kenji, and Ryan, who is not here in chat because he's a bastard. Sorry, Ryan, but I'm not. No. So yeah. Anyway, we that's really how the game loop kind of goes, and the best thing about this game, like I said, it's pretty challenging. There's a steep learning curve. It's definitely a game too where you kind of have to like do a little bit of learning. You watch some tutorials and figure out some stuff. Especially with certain enemies. Although you have like a scanner that you try and scan enemies without dying, if you can, to kind of give you. There's like
your Pokedex.
Yeah, there's like a bestiary on the terminal that's in your ship that you can search up and see what like works against them and things like that. One of the cool things, it's a little bit Phasmophobia-ish for anyone who's played that too, because the best strat is to have someone in the ship and be a ship bitch, and keep an eye on cameras, and you can also like remotely access certain doors and turn off turrets. So it's a good idea to have someone stay in the ship and keep an eye on things. Plus, as long as one person survives, you're good, because if everyone dies, your day, you continue your run, but you lose all the items that you haven't sold if everyone dies. So then you're just kind of screwed. But yeah, once you get past that learning curve, it's great. And even with that learning curve, even when it's challenging when you first start, this game makes for some of the funniest shit I've ever played in a co-op game. There were some of the moments, and I'm hoping my friend Whizfish in chat, he's got a bunch of clips that he's going to put together into a video, hopefully, so you guys can see. But there's it made for some really hilarious moments, and probably one of my favorites. So there's an enemy called the Flea. They crawl out of these vents and then they hide in the ceiling, wait for you to come through, and they'll like drop on your head and munch on your brains, I guess. But it doesn't kill you right away. So we just hear, and it's definitely, and like Phasmophobia, the audio is all through the game, and it's very, I forget the word, but it's wherever they're at in the game is where it's coming from, in your headphones. So if they're through a wall, it sounds muffled, for instance.
Okay.
And like from the direction that they're in. So me and Whizfish are in a different room, and all of a sudden we hear, "Oh my God, get it off!" Which is our friend Ryan. He comes running up, and there happens to be a shovel on the ground nearby. He's like, "Get it off me! There's a flea on me!" And there's an interesting thing is that there's a little bit of a bug, no pun intended, in the game where neither of us could see it, but he's freaking out, "Get it off!" He's like, and my friend Whizfish, he's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yes!" So he turns around, picks up the shovel, and just whacks him in the head with like this cartoonish ding. And from my point of view, it just looks so ridiculous. I can't wait to see it on the clip montage that he's gonna do, and hopefully you guys can see it, because it's a lot funnier when you're not telling the story about it. But there's these moments. It just creates these moments that you have with your friends playing this game that are super enjoyable, super entertaining. And I'm having a blast, honestly, so far playing this game, and we're still learning stuff about it. And last time we played, we got the farthest we've ever been. I think the quota starts you off at like $130 something or whatever the money is. and then we ended up getting up to like 700 something, like 780 something, which was maybe I think like 5 runs, I guess you would say, without dying. We're getting better. It's a great time. There's a reason why there's so many people playing it right now. It's fun. It's hilarious, and I highly suggest buying it. Made by Zeekers, by the way, who, if you don't know him, and I didn't know him before this, but apparently, I guess they're famous for making like Roblox games. I think. And I don't know.
I know they have some other published games on Steam that I have not heard of, but like a lot of. Okay, minor segue here since you mentioned Roblox. A lot of like devs or future devs are getting their start in Roblox.
And there's some good stuff.
We're gonna have to talk about Roblox at some point.
I know. I don't want to.
I don't want to, but
but there are some good games coming out of Roblox, and I don't know if this started off as like a Roblox mod or not, or what. But according to his Twitter profile, I believe, unless I may be mistaken, but I believe he is like a Roblox creator first and foremost before this, but hopefully this changes.
He definitely he makes a lot of videos about Roblox as well. So
again, early access, it is only $10 if you can believe it, and it is like I said, there are bugs in the game, but I've not encountered anything game breaking. All the bugs that happen have been funny. At worst, they've been a little bit annoying, like maybe like an item all of a sudden disappears that you wanted to sell, but it's not like game breaking by any means. And like I said, there's that one that I talked about that ended up being just fucking funny. So I highly suggest for $10, that's as good as you can pay for a good time with your friends, honestly. So definitely go get it. Do you guys have any questions about Lethal Company?
No, I'm just mildly irritated that I don't have a machine that can play it.
As soon as you get it, I would love to play it.
Oh, I'm going to.
All right. Well, since you don't have a machine, you got to save up for your machine. I think the best course of action is for you to play some free fun.
And finally, this week we're talking about CavEscape. It's kind of blended together, so we'll call it CavEscape. This game is it's relatively short. Like, as far as I can tell, there are only 2 levels to it. What you're seeing right now is level 1, and oh my god, you can shoot in this game? How is that a thing? Sorry, I played this for like an hour and I cannot get through this level whatsoever. You can jump on enemies, I found that out, but otherwise touching them will deal damage to you, and 3 hits you're dead unless you collect a heart or fruit or something. I still haven't been able to figure that out. Personally, I was having fun with it at first as I was kind of exploring and kind of learning, but it is... Like, this is the most difficult free fun game I think we've ever covered.
No, you guys complain so much about test and all that stuff.
No, I complained about my being dumb in test. This game is fucking difficult. Like, I don't know if it's just because, like, the color blindness or what, but, like, I cannot... like this level that we're watching right now, I cannot complete because I cannot see anything. It is so dark, and it is like everything blends so well together for me that like he's in a spot right now. I'm watching the stream with the audience. I'm slightly behind what was actually happening, but he got to a spot I didn't know how to get to there. Like it was really, really difficult. I didn't understand what was hitting me or even where my character was at the start of this level. So, like you can jump on them like Mario. It's kind of janky in terms of its hitbox. Apparently, you can shoot that I didn't know.
It's interesting though. That. You mentioned about being dark, and it's interesting how they have this global lighting where like shadows are cast like really heavy by everything.
there's some really cool tech in this, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, I wish there was footage of the second level. That's the one that I probably spent the most time on. It's a not endless runner, but that one was also extremely difficult, and I don't know if it was just like, again, I'm getting old, and therefore my gamer timing, my Twitch gaming, my micro, if you're familiar with pure ownage, and it was ridiculously difficult, but a lot of like really simple fun on the second level. The first level here it was so frustrating because I couldn't make anything out, and the shadow and lighting tech on
It's like
this,
a lot of orange and browns too.
yeah, and it just like it looks fine. I'm like watching the video now.
Really
I'm like,
good.
oh, like I can make things out much better in the video than I could when I was playing it.
You may need to turn up your gamma on your monitor. It looks like the type of game that might help.
Maybe. Yeah, I usually have that running a little bit low. I'll give it another try. But it's free. It's by Kazisio2137 on itch.io, and really, really short but fun, kind of difficult. Give it a whirl. It plays in browser. It's not even a download. Like you don't even have to download this. You can just play it in your browser.
It's just so easy.
And yeah, check it out. Have some fun with it. Get frustrated. Tell me if I'm just bad at games nowadays. Like if you're watching this or listening to this, go play CavEscape. Link is going to be in the description for sure. But like, give it a try, and then next episode, come tell me like how bad I am at games now. Because like I could not complete this. I only completed the second level once, and that was because if you happen to get lucky enough to kill one of the enemies that's on your run, and then you die, they're gone for the rest of that run.
To be fair,
So-
I can definitely see that being a problem if you're colorblind with like I said, the oranges and browns kind of really blend into each other.
Yeah.
But it is really
So-
nice looking.
Yeah, it's really well done. The controls seemed relatively tight. The physics on it, I was really surprised at how aggressive the physics were in the first level. So yeah, it's a good little bit of tech. I kind of hope that they expand it a bit.
Well, you know what's not expanding?
This episode?
This episode, because it is coming to
Oh,
an
thank
end.
God! No, I'm kidding. I love this.
Yeah,
It's
so
just we're coming up on my bedtime too. So
thank you for coming in. To those of you who stopped by the live stream, if you are listening to the edited version, you can stop by our live stream anytime on twitch.tv/JoshandYa. That is every Tuesday, unless some bullshit happens.
something happened.
Like the holidays. But just about every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, standard time at this moment, I believe. No, daylight savings time, whatever. It is now, well, doesn't matter.
9 o'clock on the East Coast of America.
There we go. I hate daylight savings time.
Yeah.
So you can join us there and chat with us live, much like the fine folks today. If you are listening on Twitch and would rather listen to the edited version, that's fine, I guess. You can do so anytime on YouTube, because that comes out usually the next day, as well as on Spotify and every other podcast platform available pretty much. Another reminder, Indie Revolution Expo, register your games, register your presentations, register to be a volunteer to help us like moderate and stuff like that. It's really
We've got
helpful.
some really cool ideas that we want to implement this year.
Yes. So IndieRevolutionExpo.com, you can go to that website, or you can go to IndieGameRiot.net on there, and there's a link in our menu to that as well. It says IRX. And also, IRX Jam is going to be happening, and you can join that right now, even though the jam doesn't happen until April. So if you are a game dev and wants to do I believe it's 3-week game jam that we decided on this year, go ahead and join that as well. You can support us in a couple of different ways, or a few different ways, I should say. Financially, you can do so by subscribing on Twitch and Patreon. You can do that as well. Otherwise, you can also just follow and subscribe. Follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. Trying to get the words
Hit the
out.
bell and do the thing.
All the things.
You know that call to action that everybody does.
That like button.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. You can also send us tips, games to check out, people to talk to, all sorts of stuff to our email, contact@indiegameriot.net. And of course, Discord is probably the biggest and best way. I mean, we have all socials like Twitter @IndieGameRiot, but Discord link is going to be in the description or below the stream if you're live. Discord is the best way to talk to us. So definitely join our Discord if you can. And I'm going to try and remember to post that award that we sent the developers of Endless, I believe it's Endless Space, that we sent it to that year, to show off the really cool trophy that Rev made and sent. I believe that's everything that we need to shout out there. So, with that said, do you have any last words?
No. Flippity gibbet.
Good? Vance? Top that?
Nope.
God damn.
Nobody can top that. Nobody can top that.
I'm not even
It's
going to try.
Untoppable. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you got me.
with those wise words said, say your goodbyes, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good one, folks.